Morning, grade 11. This is chapter 2, section 2, and exploring economics. To start, first we need to define what is economics. Economics from the word is the study of economy. When you study an economy, there are 3 questions to ask. Number 1, what goods and services should we offer? Number 2, who will use these goods and services? And number 3, how should we create and distribute goods and services? To start, if you notice in these 3 questions, we mentioned goods and services, goods and services, goods and services. What is the difference between a good and a service? A good is a tangible product. Tangible means that we could touch it. Something that you can buy. When you buy, you can see, you can touch, you can hold. A car, a pair of shoes, a bag, a book. These are all tangible goods. These are all tangible products. We call them goods. A service is an intangible product that involves people's opinion and knowledge. It cannot be physically touched. When you go to a doctor, you tell him what's wrong with you. He checks you physically and then prescribes medicine for you. This is a kind of a service. He did not give you medicine because you will go buy a medicine. This is a good. But instead, he gave you his knowledge, his opinion. This is called a service. Now, in order to make goods and services, we need resources. What are resources? Resources are something that is useful and it's used in making or producing a final product. There are 4 kinds of resources. We also call them the 4 factors of production. These are the 4 factors that we use to produce any product: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship or enterprise. The first factor is land. If you need to produce any product, you need to get the resources from Earth's surface first. Whether it's minerals, whether it's water, whether it's timber, cotton, you need the resource. Next is labor. Labor is the ability of people to do work. In other words, these are the workers that you have under you or working in a place that are helping produce the goods. Capital is money and goods used to help people make or do things. You need capital to run a business. You have an idea. You know what you're going to produce. You know where to get the land, and you have the labor available to do the work. But in order to do all of this, in order to buy the resources, in order to give the labor their money for working, you need capital. Capital is money. Capital can also be machinery. If you buy a factory, if you buy a building and you intend to make it a factory for producing shirts, you need money to buy the building. You need money to get the machines that are going to change the cotton into fabric and cloth. You need money to pay the workers. You need money to get the resources from Earth. Finally, entrepreneurship. This is a skill. It's the act of running a business and taking risks on behalf of the business. You can have money, enough money to buy the place, to buy the machinery, to afford to get the resources and afford to pay the people, but you might not have the skill of running the business. You might not have the wits, the courage, the ability to take decisions quickly and wisely and risks. This is called entrepreneurship, and we need all these 4 to produce any good or service. And they are known as the 4 factors of production. Lately, during the last millennium, technology was added to the skills needed in enterprise. You only do not need money or wits or skills or courage. You also need to be familiar with technology and use it. Technology is using knowledge in a practical way to accomplish a task. It can make it easier and cheaper to create goods. Now, this is the first question of how do we produce the goods, or what do we need. The second question is, after we created our goods using the 4 factors of production, who will use these goods and services? How do I pick my target group? We call this the target group. How do I pick them? We need to see who will benefit most from our product or service. What age group would it be? Is it adults? Is it kids? Is it toddlers? Is it teenagers? What financial status? Am I targeting the elite people, the very wealthy people of the society? Am I targeting everyone, the normal average customer with any kind of money? What gender? Sometimes our goods are targeted to a specific gender, whether it's males or females. So, 1, I create my goods and services using the 4 factors of production. 2, after I create the goods and services, I pick my target group using these questions. And 3, I have the goods, I have the target group. I need to know where should I put these goods, what places, and how am I supposed to distribute them. You need to know how much of these goods and services do you need. What's the quantity? Am I supposed to produce 100 items, 1,000, 100,000? How much will these goods and services are going to charge? What is the basic price that costed me to produce these goods and services, and what's my profit? Is it enough or is it too much for people? Where will we distribute these goods and services? Am I going to have special shops? Where are they going to be inside malls? These questions are affected by the law of supply and demand. Supply is the amount of goods and services that a producer wants to sell. Now, supply comes from the word supplier. A supplier is a person who has the goods and services, whether he is the producer or not, and they are selling it to the people. I have 2 key terms here, suppliers and consumers. Suppliers, as we said, are the people who sell the goods. They do not have to be the producers. And consumers, this is us, the people who buy the goods. Now, supply and demand, we talk about these 2 people, the suppliers and the consumers, or the producers and the consumers. Supply is the amount of goods and services that a producer wants to sell. So this is the goods or the services that the producer or supplier will sell to us. There is a certain law called the law of supply. The law of supply states that the higher the price of the good or service, the more goods and services you as a supplier would want to sell. I own a factory of cotton or cloth, just like we said. I am producing cotton pieces, shirts. The more money I charge for my piece, the higher the price of my piece, the more I want to sell because I need profit. So if my t-shirt is worth, for example, 10 pounds, and if my t-shirt is worth 50 pounds, I will want to sell more of the 50 so I can collect more money. This is called the law of supply. The law of demand states that, first to start with what's demand. Demand is the amount of goods and services the consumer wants to buy. This is from the consumer's point of view, from our point of view. What do I want to buy? The law of demand states that the lower the price of the good or service, the more people will buy. This is clearly shown in the period of sale. When there is a sale or a discount in certain shops, we tend to buy more even if we do not need it. So the less or the lower the price of an item, the more as consumers we will buy. So we want low prices. Suppliers or producers want high prices. What do? In order To reach the satisfaction of everyone, the sellers and buyers will agree on a certain price that satisfies both. This is called the equilibrium point. As you can see here, this is called the supply and demand curve. This is the price and this is the quantity. As you can see in the supply curve, as the price increases, more quantity is being produced. If the price is high, I need to produce more because I want to sell more and I want to collect more profit. The demand curve is the total opposite. As the price decreases, more and more people start to buy. We said that both suppliers and consumers, they need to reach a point where both are satisfied. Consumers are happy with the price and the suppliers are happy with the profit. This is the point of intersection that is known as the equilibrium point. This is the price that everyone is happy with and the quantity is enough to make profit for the suppliers and the price is fair enough for the consumers to buy. There are other things that affect the supply and demand. One of them is scarcity. Scarcity is the lack of resources when they are needed. In normal situations, the resources are available for the suppliers anytime, anywhere they want. But what happens if there is no enough resources to produce the goods? The suppliers are going to compete who is going to get the resources first. When they get these resources, they know that the products are not enough in the market. So they will sell it in a very high price. This results in scarce or limited resources. The prices start to increase above the equilibrium point, and only people who really want it, who really have enough money more than they need, they will afford to get it. This usually happens when you go to the Red Sea cities. Water is not distilled over there. You cannot use tapped water. You cannot use water from the tap, from the sink. You need to go buy water bottles. Because they know that this is a scarce item, the price of the water bottle is relatively different and higher than the prices here. This is where we're going to stop today. I need you to read the slides and read the book. Sorry, this is where we stop this week. You read the slides, you read the book. At the end of the week, you will find your weekly assignment. If you have any questions, please get them ready so I can answer them in your online session, the extra care session.